Yan may isang serbisyo nga may silbi kanyayo kat itilan sighting and ancestral domain sighting.
An inherent program or project of the NCIP is to help them facilitate the formulation of ADS-DPPs, Ancestral Domain Sustainable Development and Protection Plan. So, in these plans, the indigenous knowledge, systems, and practices of the communities are being considered.
With or without the rice terraces, poverty issues, hunger, malnutrition, the lack of livelihood, these are will always be important priorities of any government agency, of any local government unit. And so for us, we cannot also separate the development aspect of the conservation and management program of the rice terraces. This is something that we have to educate our national officials and the people themselves that the development of the rice terraces, or the conservation and management of the rice terraces, is a cultural and economic, environmental, and political. It encompasses all aspects of lives of the Ifugaos.
There should be a way developing where you can keep your traditional Ifugao beliefs or traditional Ifugao lifestyle within a 2009 context. It's a little much to expect, but it's beginning to evolve.
Among the major components is environmental sustainability, environmental protection, biodiversity. When we talk of environmental sustainability, first is there's community-based land use and zoning, because we want the people, the rice terraces owners, to make the plan themselves. So land use actually helps in protecting the watersheds because the people decide that this area which supplies the water to the rice terraces are considered as protected areas. If you talk to conservationists, they will say, oh, let's stop all of this concrete infrastructure works in the rice terraces because it destroys the beauty of the rice terraces. But if you talk to people who depend or just would like to have increased incomes, they would like better roads, they would like better houses, especially if they increase their family incomes. And eventually, because of this self-reflection in a community dialogue, they get to realize that even while the primordial instinct is to get livelihood, andun pa rin yung value of the cultural value or the cultural aspect of the rice terraces. It's not necessarily a conflicting premises. No? Now, if you're pro-development, you're anti-culture. What we're trying to do is to marry both needs. No? Kasi throughout the centuries, Ifugaos naman have adapted to their climate.
The latest studies now shows that we were pushed into the mountains immediately prior to the coming of the Spaniards. So population pressures pushed them up. The terraces is an adaptation from the Gabi culture. So the rice is adapted to the terraces of the Gabi.
Before they can plant, for example, the seeds, they have to wait for a certain period of time where they believe that the seeds will sprout well. For instance, the faces of the moon, they always say that during the hour, that's the half moon, that's the best time to plant anything.
So I believe on the tradition by cutting trees within the forest, it will decrease water. They only get something for them, but they do not get excessive. That is the tradition.
They have seen that the Ifugaos have recognized the power of water, the behavior of water, and they were able to direct this power, use this power to stabilize the slope and manage landslides and erosions.
For now, we are into the restoration of the collapsed rice terraces walls. We are trying to change the attitude of the people that if they claim that they own these rice terraces, then they are the first to be responsible.
They have a lot of programs, but it's very hard to get funding for cultural programs because they look at the rice terraces and most national politicians or even local politicians look at it as cultural programs. And cultural programs are not really high in the agenda of politicians. But what we do is we take advantage of the international recognition of the rice terraces. And that's why most of the programs right now, or at least those that have large funding, the sources of funds come from international agencies. I was talking about GIAS. It's funded by FAO under the Global Environment Fund. We have the Indigenous Knowledge Transfer Program, both being administered by the provincial government and the Department of Education, which is being funded by the National Federation of UNESCO Associations in